So I'm having a chat with Tom of Blossoms. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Jim. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks so much. We've been playing a new single of yours called Perfect Me. Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
That song was written actually in the room together as the band, I suppose. Like normally I'd like go away and write on a piano, acoustic, or a synth, and then take it to the lads. Whereas this was kind of born out of us five in a room together. Josh was messing around on like a Moog sequencer, which you hear at the start of the record, and I came into the rehearsal room and he was like messing around with that, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And then could immediately start to form chords over the top of it in my head. So I sat down and was like working out what I thought the progression should be. And then each band member arrived one by one, and it kind of just came together like, right, you go on the drums and play that. And then it kind of was, yeah, like born out of like a jam, half an hour kind of just everyone arriving one by one, which
Mm.
was different, I suppose, for us. I think you hear that in the urgency of the record, maybe. And lyrically, it was kind of, I was just, I thought it'd be interesting to list the things that make up the perfect person, or this, yeah, this trying to aim for this perfect person, it doesn't really exist, does it? So everyone can kind of fall into them trappings, and yeah, I just felt like that married with the speed and the urgency of the song, and yeah, that's how the song was born.
Nice, excellent. We'll touch on writing a little bit later on, but the single Perfect Me is off your new record. It's out 20th of September, called Gary. What can we expect to hear on the record?
I think there's Perfect Me is a good kind of example of the energy on the record. I suppose we played a lot of the record live, us five in a room, which we haven't kind of weirdly haven't done, even though we're a band. Like we'd like go and record the bits separately in the studio and then have to learn the songs live maybe. Apart from the first record, maybe a lot of the first record was kind of wrote in a rehearsal room and well jammed in a rehearsal room, and we'd play it on the road a bit and then record it. So I suppose this is the closest we've kind of come to approaching it a similar way to when we first started the band, like us five in a room, and not back to basics because I feel like we're 10 years in and we've got better at our instruments, I suppose. But yeah, there's a lot of energy on the record. It's the most collaborative record we've done. We've worked with Jungle on it. We've worked with CMAT, um, and our regular collaborator James Skelly from the Coral. So I think it's an amalgamation of everything people have loved about Blossoms with a slightly different door open because of the collaborative nature of it, I'd say.
Nice. And the sound that you created with this record, was it the sound you wanted to make, or is it simply just how it turned out in the studio?
I think each song you write, each person we collaborated with on this record affected it a slightly different way. Like first person we worked with was Jungle, Josh from Jungle, and that was on What Can I Say After I'm Sorry in Nightclub, and I feel like that set the tone in terms of a little bit of a party atmosphere, maybe like the slight disco influence on the record. Um, and Josh did some really cool things with the backing vocals and chopped up the vocals, and you hear it on his own Jungle records, to be honest. And it was nice to see him do it with us. So once we'd worked with him, the vocals kind of became a like a theme throughout it on certain songs. It became a bit of a yeah, a go-to move on the record. And then working with Kira from CMAT, that was a whole new experience for us as well because we haven't really wrote with anybody else, and we
Hmm.
brought her into our circle. Went away to an Airbnb in Wales and locked ourselves away and wrote for a week, and that was kind of we came out of that learning from it. So I suppose the each, like I said, each person we worked with influenced the record slightly differently, and I think at the heart of it was us playing live, which we kind of knew quite early on. That's what we wanted to do. So I think yeah, everyone's different skill set and yeah, talent brought something different to the record.
Yeah, nice. And I'm sure you wrote more than what made it onto this record. What happens to those now? Do you consider them again next time round, or will they be binned off and you'll start again?
I tend to not really look back at songs and rehash them for future albums. I just think the nature of me as a songwriter, it's kind of I'm always looking forward, and I'll have probably hopefully wrote a new batch of songs which I'll be more excited about.
Mm.
So we have done a bonus version of the record with like 8 extra tracks which didn't quite make the cut. So it's nice to like actually let some of them see the light of day. Because in the past we've just sat on them. Like there's some songs we've been sat on for years, and we don't think we'll ever do anything with. Where this time we were like, let's just put some of them out, but some of them will just remain on the shelf, gathering dust probably. Sorry, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna blow my nose.
it's all good. I can tell you've got a cold.
Yeah, it's annoying, but it is what it is.
It happens, but at least you're getting it out of the way before you head out on tour, which isn't too
I
far
thought
away
that.
now. I bet you can't wait to be on the road again.
Definitely, I think we just done a show at Wythenshawe Park, which was like arguably our best show we've ever done, and we've put a lot of effort into the live show, and I feel like we've really stepped our game up a little bit. So to take that show into the smaller venues we're playing on tour, well, they're not small, but they're smaller than Wythenshawe Park, will be really fun, and to then incorporate some tracks from this album because they were already we played them all live on the record. I feel like they'll just slide right into the set.
Yeah, and with 5 records in now, how easy is it going to be to put the set list together?
Not that easy. It's quite difficult. We found that at Wythenshawe, we kind of you're like, oh yeah, but what about that one? What about
Mm.
this one? And having another album's worth of songs to kind of pick from, it's going to be a tough choice. But maybe we'll have a subs bench and swap some of them in each night. Maybe I think that's the way around it.
Yeah, is there a wild card song that you've maybe not played live in the past that you kind of want to get into a set at some point?
Probably, yeah, maybe like one of the old B sides for a laugh, but that tends to then get pushed back when you've got a new record because you kind of like, yeah, but you've got to, we should play the ones from the new record really, and we
Mm.
want to play them ones. So I think the one stuff from the new record would get a run out before a really old deep cut.
Yeah, fair enough. And as mentioned, I'd like to talk about the writing side of things. So for you, how do tracks normally start off?
Normally, I would. It's different each time, I suppose, but I'd often over the course of the year or all the time take notes into my phone of like song title ideas, little lyric ideas here and there, and then I'd go and sit by the piano with an acoustic as well and the synth. I've got like a little setup in my back room, which is kind of a couple of instruments, and then just kind of see what happens, I suppose. And usually you'll catch something that a melody or a guitar line or a hook or whatever, and you know when it's worth chasing, and then you'll kind of
Mm.
then finesse it from the stuff in my phone maybe, and then but then sometimes the song could just be written from personal experience, which you feel like you have to get out. Sometimes Gary, for example, the song was written about a fiberglass gorilla that was stolen from a garden centre in Scotland, which I heard on the radio, and I thought I'm going to write a song about it. So there's no rules to songwriting for me, that's what I find exciting about it. And the older I've got, the more I kind of get a kick out of the humor of being able to turn something ridiculous or mundane into a song, maybe. So yeah, the process. I think you just got to keep chipping away, though. That's the kind of
Mm.
key to the process. You can't really be take your foot off the gas with it. You've always got to be, whether it's taking notes down, whether it's thinking. I'm always on with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the lyrics as well, do you find it pretty straightforward to add the lyrics to the music, or can it be a challenge at times?
Each song's different. It's like some songs just write themselves in terms of like Gary. I was reading blogs online and stuff was jumping out, and I was like turning the articles into the song and then like fleshing out bits myself. Sometimes I might have had a personal experience and you write the song really fast and it's really cathartic and you feel like that had to come out here. Then sometimes, less so for me personally, but I might get the melody and try something and then I listen to it the next day and I'm like, no, I need to tweak that melody. And then I can chip away at a song for like 2 months, which there's a track on this record which was called Mothers, which was one of them, which I kind of had the music for, but tried a few different versions of melodies over it. And but that I don't tend to always do that really. It tends to the ones that are good come pretty fast. But that being said, that there is the odd time which you have to finesse and you're reading it and you think I can get better than
Mm.
that, and then you might be driving in your car and then something just comes to you, and yeah, there's no rules to it really, mate.
Yeah,
Anything goes.
yeah, fair enough. And looking towards the future now, what's 2025 going to hold for you?
2025, hopefully quite a busy year touring, I'd imagine, with a new record out. I think we'd like to get overseas a bit more and maybe explore some other territories, festivals. Yeah, and just have fun playing this record live because it was a record made to be played live, I suppose.
Mhm.
So that's where it's going to sound the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you'll be wanting to get back to Europe, over to the States. Is there anywhere you've not been to yet that you want to get to?
Not been to South America, I'd love to go to. That's probably top of
Mm.
our list, but I just know it's so like boring side of it, like visas and stuff. It's very expensive, so to try and it'd have to be worthwhile, and we'd have to know we could put a few shows around it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So, but I'd love to go to South America.
sounds good. Tom, it's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.